So today's topic is going to be creation of objects. What is an object? Object is nothing but table in the regular database. Object is nothing but table in the regular database. Object is nothing but table in the regular database. In the regular applications, if you want to store any data, we store the data in the tables. In the Salesforce, if you want to store any data, we store the data in objects. I repeat the point. Objects are nothing but tables in the regular database. Any data that we want to store in the Salesforce, that data we are going to save in objects. Now, there are two types of objects. First one, standard object. Second one, custom object. When you say standard objects, these are the objects which are created by the Salesforce. So when I say standard objects, these are the objects which are created by the Salesforce. Example, user, profile, account, contact, we have lead. All these are the objects which are created by the Salesforce to meet global CRM requirements. When I say custom objects, these are the objects which are created by the user. These are the objects which are created by the user to meet his organizational business requirement. I repeat the point. Custom objects. These are the objects which are created by the user to meet his organizational business requirement. Now the question is, how do you create an object? If you want to create an object, how do you create an object? Setup, build, create objects, new custom object. Then we are able to see the label name, plural name, and all this stuff. I repeat the navigation one more time. Setup, build, create objects, new custom object. Then step number 1, enter the object label. When I say object label, name with which object should be displayed on the user interface. I already discussed in the last session. Label names are always used for display on the UI, user interface. Names are always used to refer to the components programmatically. The same point will repeat here. Object label. It is the name with which object is displayed on the user interface. Object name. Name with which we refer to the object programmatically. If you want to refer to the object programmatically, we use object name. If you want to refer to the object on the user interface, we use label name. Come back to this. Now, if you want to access any object, I told you object is nothing but table, right? So let us assume we have some tables here. I have a couple of tables here. I have tables here. So I have given a couple of tables here. Right. Now the name of this table is employee. Name of this table is student. Name of this table is invoice. Let us assume we have a user called Wilson. He wants to read the data in the table. When the user called Wilson, when he want to open a table, he need an interface. User want to enter the data. Let us say Wilson want to open the table called employee. He want to read data in the employee table, or he want to create a new record, or he want to modify or delete. If the user want to open a table, there should be some interface. So what we have done, we created one tab here. So when the user clicks on the tab, employee table is opening. When user clicks on the tab, student table is opening. So if user want to open a table, he has to click on a tab. If user want to open a table, he has to click on a tab. When he click on the tab, corresponding table will be open. Now, what is the name that you want to print on the tab? When you're giving a tab, what is the name you want to print on the tab? This name is called plural label. Name that is displayed on the tab of an object. In case if you are creating tab for an object, in case if you are creating tab for an object, the name that is displayed on the tab is called plural label. So at the time of creating an object, whatever the plural name you are giving, this name will be printed on the tab. Look at the example here. Look at this example. If you are opening a sales application, this is a tab. Name on the tab, campaigns. Name on the tab, leads, accounts, contacts. All of them are what? Plural names. These are the names that are printed on the tab. Similarly, if you create any tab for an application, applications is the plural label which is printed on the tab. So, label name, plural label, and object name. I hope I'm clear with these 3 points. Any further queries for anyone? Good. Then, we are going with the next context. Context sensitive help. Salesforce by default on every object, if you open any object, it is providing a link called help for this page. When you click on this help, Salesforce is opening one standard document. When you click on the tab, Salesforce is providing a help document. This is the document what Salesforce is providing for every object. Now it is asking, you are creating a new object. Even the object that you create, I will provide help for this page. When someone clicks on the help for the page, which page you want me to open? Do you want me to open the same standard help page which I was opening for everyone? Or do you want to create your own help page? He's asking. Do you want me to open the same help page what I was offering for everyone? Or do you want to create your own help page? You can choose any one of these options. Context sensitive help. When you click on the help of the object, when you click on the help of an object, help document is going to be open. Help document is going to be open. The help document, do you want me to open the standard help document, or are you going to create your own help document? I said use the standard help document. Any query on this? I repeat the point one more time. Every object that you open, by default, Salesforce provide help for this page. When you click on this help, which document you have to open as a help, that we need to specify at the time of creating an object. If you choose the first option, Salesforce help document will be open. If you choose the second option, it is a custom Visualforce page which is going to be open. I hope I'm clear. Any query from anyone? Good. So let me go to the next point. We have record name, label and format. If you are creating any object, any custom object that we create in Salesforce, for every custom object, Salesforce by default create one standard field called name field. Any custom object you create in the Salesforce by default create a standard document called help document. Help document. This. Sorry. Every custom object that we create in the Salesforce, in every custom object, Salesforce is creating one field called name field. This is the standard field which Salesforce was creating on every custom object. So what is the standard field? Name field. By default, every custom object we create in the Salesforce, by default, Salesforce creates one custom. by default, Salesforce creates one standard field. I repeat the point here. I repeat the point one more time. Every custom object that we create in the Salesforce, every custom object that we create in the Salesforce, every custom object that we create in the Salesforce, on every object, Salesforce by default create one of the standard field called name field. Salesforce by default create one of the standard field called name field. This name field is created by Salesforce. But when you say name, it is not employee name or student name. It is a field which was created by Salesforce. Now, it is mandatory. You cannot leave this field blank. It is mandatory. You cannot leave this field blank. Then it is saying, boss, as this field is a mandatory field, in this field, you can choose any type of data which is a text or auto number. In this field, we can choose any type of data which is a text or an auto number. So, the name field will accept the data in the form of text or auto number. The name field will accept the data in the form of text or auto number. If we say text, it's an alphanumeric data. We can enter anything of our choice. Let us say Satish Maila. Now when you say auto number, system will automatically generate the data. System will automatically generate the data based on the format what we have selected. System will automatically generate the data based on the format what we have provided. Let us say we give auto number. If I give employee ID, then starting number 1. So automatically system will generate employee ID 001, employee ID 002. So based on the format, system will auto generate the number. Suppose I have given my format as invoice, month, starting number, so automatically what happens here? Invoice 10, invoice 1002. So based on the format what we mentioned, system will auto generate the number. So the name field is one of the standard field which Salesforce has created on every custom object. And I told this field is going to accept the data in the form of text or auto number. If I choose auto number, we have to specify the format based on which system will auto generate the values. We have to specify the format based on which system will auto generate the values. When we say auto number, we have to specify the format based on which system will auto generate the values. If we say text, user has to manually enter the data. Right. So come back to the field. Here I told it is application ID. Now the problem is when you say it's a name field, everybody will misunderstand that it's an employee name or student name. That is the reason. While you are displaying the field, display in the format what user can understand. So I'm giving a employee ID. Now here it is student name. Here it is invoice number. So with what label you are displaying the name field on the user interface, that label name is called record label name. I repeat all the points together. By default, Salesforce is creating one standard field on every custom object we create. When we create a custom object, Salesforce by default creating one of the standard field called name field. When I say name, it has ambiguity. That is the reason we are displaying the same field to the users in a meaningful format. So with what name or label you want to display, that label is called record label name. Record label name. And the name field is a mandatory field. You cannot leave that field blank. So it is going to accept the data in the form of text or auto number. If I say auto number, based on the format what we are given, starting number what we are given, system will auto generate the values. This is all about record name, label and format. Any queries for anyone? Any queries from anyone? Everyone has followed? Any queries from anyone? Am I clear with this? Right. Okay. So let me go ahead with the next. Now, we are going with optional features. When I say optional features, these options can be enabled or disabled at any stage of the application. When I say optional features, these options can be enabled or disabled at any stage of the application. So what are those options? Allow reports, allow activities, track field history, allow in chat groups. If I choose the first option, allow reports, it allows you to create reports on the data which is available in the table. Let us say if I am taking a student data, I want to know number of students who have joined for batch 143, number of boys joined for batch 143, number of girls joined for the batch 143. I want to create a report how many people have joined for the admin and development. I want to create a report how many people are going to join for the admin, development and integration. How many people are going to join for the only integration. This is what my analysis on the data which is in student table. My analysis on the data which is in the student table. So if you want to create this type of analysis or reports, we need to enable allow reports, allow activities. If you want to create any task, or events on the records of the table, if you want to create any task or events on the records of this table, we have to enable allow activities like event task. assigning a work to some user. Whenever a new record is created, make a background verification on this record. It's a task, work we are assigning. Event. All the new customers who are created, submit your documents by 14th of this month. It's a event. So if you want to create any event or a task, we have to enable an option called allow activities. All the new customers attend the meeting. It's an event. Right, boss? So if you want to create event or a task, we need to enable an option called allow activities. Right. Once you're done, we are going with track field history. When you say track field history, any changes happening on the records of the object. Let me give you a quick idea. What is this? So go back to this. I want to track changes happening on the records of the fields of the records. Let me take a contact object, fields, set field tracking. I'm just showing a demonstration. We'll discuss these points. So I have something like assistant phone. Then I'm taking email, home phone. Go to the contact object. I'm just demonstrating the format, boss. If you open any record, I'm just trying to demonstrate what it is going to do. Now, just make a changes on the data of this field. I have home phone number 1234. So if you make any changes on the field, it's going to maintain the history. Look at this. Satish Mehla has changed home phone number to 1234. Again, I'm modifying this phone number. So this is called track field history. Satish Mehla has changed the phone number from 1234 to 999. So whenever we make any changes on the fields of this table, they're going to maintain the history. If you want to maintain the history, we have to enable track field history. Right. Then allow in charter groups. It's just like your Facebook. When you post any photos in the Facebook, all the people who are following you, they will get alert message. Boss, Satish has posted a photo, or Satish has liked someone's comment. Satish has written a comment on somebody's post, because you are following that person. Similarly, if you want to follow any record, we have to create a group on that record. If I enable this, it allows you to create a charter group. All these are individual topics. Each topic would be taking a day to cover this. Right. We'll be discussing again these topics in detail when you go to the concerned topics. As of now, we have seen the overview of this. Allow reports. It allows you to create a report on the data of a table. Allow activities. It allows you to create tasks and events on the records of the object. Then we have track field history. Any changes happening on the data of this object, They will be tracked and maintained as history. Allow in charter groups. It allows you to create charter groups on the records of this object. So this is the optional features. You can enable this option or disable this option at any stage of the application. You can enable these options and disable this option at any stage of the application. It is not mandatory that at the time of creating an object we have to enable. This can be enabled or disabled at any stage of the application. Right. Any further queries from your end? Anyone has any queries on these points? Am I clear with these points? Good. Then, object classification. So the objects are classified into two formats. One is enterprise application object. Second is lightning application object. Enterprise application object or lightning application object. Now, if I disable any one of these options, if you disable any one of these three options, it becomes lightning application object. Lightning means single page application. If I enable all these options, then it becomes enterprise application. So every application what we are creating is enterprise. If you want to make it lightning, disable any one of these options. Right. Then it becomes lightning application. Okay. Now, I repeat the point. If you enable all the three options, it is enterprise application object. If you disable any one of these option, then it is called lightning application object. Lightning application object. Good. Then deployment status. If I choose in development, only administrator will be able to see, no other user will be able to access. If I choose the option as in development, only administrator will be able to see this object, no other user will be able to access this object. When I say deployed, all the users of the organization can access the object based on the security model of the application. When I say deployed, all the users of the organization can access the object based on the security model of the object. So this is deployment status. I repeat one more time. In development. If I enable this option as in development, this object is accessible to the administrator only. No other user will be able to access it. If I say in deployed, this object is accessible to all the users based on the security model of your organization. Right. Then we are going with allow search. When I say allow search, something like this. Now, if I was searching for any data from here, it is searching for the data. If I type any word, it is searching for the keyword in account object, contact object, and opportunity object. Similarly, if anybody is making a search, do you want me to search for your data even from this custom object what you are creating? If anybody is making any search from the global, if anybody make a search from here, should I search for that keyword even in your table? If yes, enable allow search. Any queries from your end? Right. So let me go with the next last options. So here we have object creation option. Once you enable this option, you will not be able to disable this option. Once you enable this option, you will not be disable, you will not be able to disable this option. These options are available only, these options are available only at the time of creating, these options are available only at the time of creating an object. Once the object is created, we cannot enable these options or disable this option. Once we enable this, we will not be able to enable or disable these options. Let me tell you, we have add nodes and attachments. If you open any record, look at this, you'll be finding nodes and attachments. That means where we can attach the files to the record, we can attach a file, or if you want, you can maintain some nodes on the record. So if you want to maintain any nodes, or if you want to attach any file, we require these nodes and attachments. So this option will be enabled if you enable this. This option will be enabled if you add this. Next, launch custom tab wizard. If I choose this option, once the object is created, it takes you to the tab creation page. Once you choose this option, after creating the object, immediately it takes you to the tab creation page. I'll do all the options together now. Try to understand what I'm trying to do. I'll repeat all the points. Try to get the points. I was trying to create custom objects. So what is a custom object? Any object that we create to meet our organizational business requirement are called custom objects. If you want to create a custom objects, navigation, setup, build, create objects, new custom object, then we are going to give. Right. What is the first option? Object label. What is the object label? It is a name with which object should be visible to the user. So I have given application. Plural label, the name that should be printed on the tab. Application. Object name, the name with which you are going to refer this object programmatically. Context sensitive. When I click on the help of an object, on the object, which page need to be opened is identified based on context sensitive. If we choose the first, it is going to open standard document what Salesforce is offering. If I choose the second, we have to create our own page and use it. So as per my requirement, I want to choose the first one. Then record label name. So what was this? Every object that we create in the Salesforce by default create one standard field which is called name field, which is a mandatory field. You cannot leave this field blank. So what type of data can be entered in that field? It can be a text or alphanumeric. If we say it is a text, we can enter alphanumeric data. If we say it is a auto number, based on the format what you mentioned, system will auto generate the number. That is auto number. So here in this case, I was choosing auto number. So I was giving application ID, month, I told starting with 1. Optional features. These options can be enabled or disabled at any stage of the application. If I choose the first option, it allows you to create reports on the data of the table. Allow activities. It allows you to create tasks and events on the records of the object. Track field history. Any changes happening on the fields of the object, they are maintained as a history. Who has modified, when he has modified, what is the old value and what is the new value. This history is going to be maintained. Allow in charter groups. If I enable this, it allows you to create charter groups on the data of the records of the table. So it's your choice now. Then we have object classification. Every object that we create, by default it is enterprise. All the 3 options are enabled. If you disable this option, if you disable any one of this option, it becomes lightning application object. Is this object designed for enterprise or lightning? So basically lightning will not support bulk operations. That's the reason. If you disable any one of these, it is not supporting bulk operations or streaming access. Then by default it becomes lightning application object. Deployment status. This will specify who can access this object. If I choose in development, the process of development is not completed, so it is only accessible to administrator. It is only accessible to administrator. If I choose deployed, the process of development is completed. All the users of the organization can access, but depends upon your security model. Depends upon your security model. Okay. Then we have search status. When I say search status, when you are searching for any data, should I search for the keyword even in the table what we are creating? If yes, enable this. Then object creation options. These options can be enabled or disabled only at the time of creating an object. Once the object is created, we will not be able to enable or disable this option. Once the object is created, we will not be able to enable or disable this option. Right. So what are they? Add nodes and attachments. This is to create the attachments and nodes for the record. Launch new custom tab wizard. When I select this, launch new custom tab wizard. If you select this, once the object is created, it takes you to the tab creation page. Right. So let me give you this. Right now I am disabling this option. Save it. So how do you recognize whether it is a standard object or a custom object? Any custom object that we created will have _ C. That _ C indicates it is a custom. Next, when I click on edit, look at all the options are available except last 2 options. I told you last 2 options are only available at the time of creating. Once you create, you will not be able to disable or enable those options. Then next point. Every object that we have in the Salesforce has 3 character code. Look at this. 001 is for account. Contact 003. Then we have opportunity 006. Contacts 800. Orders 801. Cases 500. Right. Users 005. Leads 00Q. So every object that we have in the Salesforce has 3 character unique ID. Based on this ID only, Salesforce will recognize your object. Right. Any queries from your end? Any queries in creation of this object? Anyone has any queries on this? Fine. So let me create one more object. Setup, build, create objects, new custom object, customer, plural name, customers. So I'm taking the record name as customer name. Data type this time I'm taking as text. Previously we have taken auto number. This time I'm taking as text. Optional features, allow reports, it's your choice. Object classification, enterprise application. Deployment status, in development, deployed, I'm choosing as deployed. Allow search. Now I'm enabling these two options. In the previous case, I didn't enable the second option. Now I was creating the second option. When you do this, once the object is created, it is taking you to tab creation page. Once the object is created, it is taking you to the tab creation page. So this is how we are creating the object. Now, there is one more format in which we can create a custom object. So what is that other format? Using schema builder. Setup, build, schema builder, elements, object. I'm going to create the data. Create record. Create records. Then we have context sensitive help setting. I'm choosing the standard help. Then what is the label name for the name field? Credit card number. Auto number I have chosen. I'm going to give ICICI. I give some format here. Starting with 301. I give some format and allow reports, activities. Then simply say save. So this is one of the format in which we can create objects. What is that? Setup, build, develop, schema builder, elements, object, payment, payments. Then we are going to take record name, payment ID, auto number, payment ID. Then we are taking here starting number 1, allow reports, activities, save it. Right, boss? This is how we created the objects. Now, there is one more format in which we can create, that is using SOAP API metadata web service. We can also create the objects using one more format, metadata API web services. We can also create using metadata SOAP API web services. This is the third format. So in how many ways we can create an object? One is by using standard navigation. Second one is by using schema builder. Third one is by using metadata SOAP API web services. Next, objects falls under which data model? Which part of MVC? It is model part of MVC. Objects fall under which part of MVC? It fall under model part of MVC. Model part of MVC. Right. Then we have the next part of the story. How many custom objects can be created? So how many objects we can create? It purely depends upon the edition what we have purchased. If it is unlimited edition, 2000, developer 400, enterprise 200, professional 50. Depends upon the edition what we purchased, the number of objects we can create. So I repeat, number of custom objects that we can create purely depends upon the edition what we have purchased. Then how do you differentiate between standard objects and custom objects? All the custom objects will have underscore C. Then how do you recognize the object? Every object will have has 3-character unique ID. Unique ID. Every object has 3-character unique ID, based on which we recognize the object. As I told you, 001 for account, 005 for the user, 003 for contact. Like this, we have different codes. Then, once objects are created, who can see the objects? We create an object, but who is allowed to see? Then permissions on the object are controlled at the profile level. So go to administer, manage users, profiles, choose any one of the profile. Let us say I am choosing branch manager. Go to the profile. In the profile we have permissions here. So look at this. These are all the standard tables. Accounts, assets, campaign, case, all of these are standard objects. Similarly, these are the custom objects. Now you decide what permissions you want to give on this object. All the users with this profile can perform create, edit, delete. So the permissions on the object are controlled from profile. Profile controls which objects that user can access, what type of operation that users can perform on the object. Let me show you. Again, we are going for a profile. We'll choose clerk profile, edit, so all the users with the clerk profile, they will be able to perform read, create, edit and delete operations. Right. This is how we created this. Any further queries on this? People are clear with this format? People are clear with this format? So theoretical content is already available on my Facebook community, or else you can access from the theoretical notes from my drive or for the Facebook community. The Facebook already we have copies of my notes. Use from there, or you can use from my documents. So what was this? Right, boss. So that's all from my end for the day. So you can access the nodes from here. So what are the objects? Standard objects, custom objects, steps to create the objects, navigation, and critical notes about each and every point what I discussed is available in my Facebook community, as well as it is available on my drive which I shared. You can access the material from there. I hope you are clear with this format. Any further queries that you have? Anyone has any other queries apart from this? Right. So, and if